Kobe Bryant captured the hearts of everyone. From his game-winning shots to his incredible work ethic, his legacy will live on forever. But there's one thing that Kobe said that has always stuck with me. He said it during his Jersey retirement speech. He said, "Those times when you don't feel like working, you're too tired, you don't want to push yourself, but you do it anyway, that is actually the dream. It's not the destination, it's the journey." I remember being 18 and watching that speech and not understanding what he meant by that. When I was that age, I only focused on the destination. I had no idea all the steps you needed to take in order to achieve that destination or that end goal. But when I entered college and was pursuing a path in sports media, I knew my end goal or destination was to get a job in sports media, but I had no idea the journey or the process I had to take in order to achieve that goal. I started meeting with career counselors who gave me a roadmap to follow. As I started to write articles for the student newspaper, I became invested in being the best reporter I could be. I remember asking anyone I could for tips to become a better interviewer, how to write better stories, and how to get better. Fast forward 2 years later, I turned my attention to wanting to work in sports and social media. I started my podcast around that time, and when I was doing my podcast, I became invested in learning the process of how a podcast works, how to edit it, and how to market it. I wanted to absorb all the information. I also started dabbling into Premiere Pro and Photoshop and just got invested in learning the techniques and getting better. Remember, my destination was still to land a job in sports media, but what I found throughout that time, I got invested and loved the process of putting in the daily work to get better. As I reflect on that time in my current life, I see the truth in what Kobe said. The dream is the journey, not the destination. So in this video, I wanted to share with you 3 ways in which focusing on the journey has helped my life. Number 1, grounds you. Now, it's very natural to get caught up in the high highs and the low lows. We are all riding the wave. But the one thing that focusing on the journey helps you do is it allows you to weather the storm. When you are zoned in on the process, you don't allow yourself to get too low when things are going bad, and you don't allow yourself to get too full of yourself when things are going good. You know that this is all part of the process. Viewing it in this lens grounds you and allows you to put your head down to continue to work. Kobe Bryant made a ton of game-winning shots throughout his career, but he also missed a ton too, but he never let the misses get to him. Yeah, it's never fun when your team loses, especially when the ball is in your hands, but he never let those missed shots wreck his confidence. He got up and shot again, and again. He trusted the work that he put in, and he knew he would come out on the other side of any slump. I've recently felt this with YouTube, where my recent video was the first video to hit 1,000 views in 3 days. It was a big deal for me, and I kept refreshing YouTube Studio to see what the updated numbers were. But as I was refreshing those numbers, a nervous feeling started to creep in the back of my head about, what if this is it? What if my next video flops? When those voices in the back of my head started coming, I started to get nervous, but then I remembered to trust the process and focus on the journey. When I focused on the journey, I realized that I can't control if someone clicks on my videos. What I can control is improving my script writing, my production value, and my editing. Focusing on that is the goal, not the views. Number 2, the freedom to fail. Now, this correlates to my first point, but one thing I've realized throughout this journey is that following the process gives you the freedom to fail. Instead of getting caught up in the analytics or getting caught up in the end result, you are instead focusing on improving your craft each day. Looking back at my junior year when I started to learn Photoshop to make graphics for my podcast, those graphics weren't that great, but at the time when I posted them, I thought they were amazing. I had the courage to start posting them on social media because I wasn't worried about blowing up. I just wanted to get my ideas out there. When I was making those graphics, I had no idea about color theory, typography, or any other graphic design elements. I only started to learn about those concepts after studying them and trial and error. I don't think I would have made the same progress in my graphic design career if I was so caught up in the end goal. I would have felt this external pressure to only publish work that I thought was the absolute best. As Michael Scott so famously double quoted Wayne Gretzky, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So give yourself the freedom to fail. You'll be surprised by the amount of pressure it can take off of you and the amount of progress you can make when you do that. Number 3, become a student of the game. One of the things I've always admired about Kobe was his intellect and constant need to improve. He was always looking at film, asking questions, and looking at ways to get better. He lived and breathed basketball. Michael Jordan even said that during Kobe's earliest years in the league, he would go up to him and ask him about his moves. He would ask him why he did those certain moves when he did, getting the physical look at how he did them, but also understanding the psyche of it. When he got older, he continued to learn and pick up things from other players younger than him. No one was too little or too big to ask questions from. I applied this to my sports media career by asking my peers who were better than me at writing about their process, how they ask questions, and how they approach writing. I wanted to know the secret sauce that allowed them to cook. I took this into every avenue of sports media. If there was someone that did something different than I did, I wanted to know how they did it. I wanted to know their thought process behind why they chose what they did. Now I do this all the time when I'm watching YouTubers who are making the same type of content that I'm doing. I look at how they frame their shot, how they speak about their points, the B-roll, and basically anything that makes their video stand out. I try to take certain elements in that to help improve my own work. This can only happen when you open your mind to being a student. The student is always looking to learn and always looking to improve their game. The student knows that eventually they may fail, but that's the point of it. The point is to fail and to learn and to get better. Focusing on the journey doesn't sound as fun compared to the destination, but when you focus on the journey, what you'll find is that the fun and improvement never ends. Trust the process. With love and respect, Yash.